a total of 54 1/4 miles on her 5-day trip. She will hike 12.5 miles on each of the first 3 days and 10 3/8 miles on the 4th day. How many miles will she have left to hike on the 5th day? Okay, so we know that we have a total of 54 1/4. We know that for the first 3 days, she does 12.5 miles. Then, or she does it each day. So I'm actually going to write that in a different way. I'm going to say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because this makes more sense to our brains than just saying for the first 3 days. So on Monday, she did 12.5. On Tuesday, she did 12.5. And on Wednesday, she did 12.5. And then it says on the 4th day, she did 10 3/8. We're trying to figure out how much she did on Friday. So what would your strategy be looking at this question? Your strategy should be adding all of these numbers up together. Now, you could do this in a variety of ways. You could do 12.5 times 3, or you can just do 12.5 plus 12.5 plus 12.5 plus 10 3/8. Okay, I'm going to start by adding my whole numbers. So I'm going to do 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 10. 12 plus 12 gives me 24. 24 plus 12 gives me 36. And then 36 plus 10 gives me 46. After that, I'll add my fractions. Now remember, to add fractions, what do we know we have to have? The same denominator. So right now, I can only add the halves because only the halves have the same denominator. So I just add the numerator. So I have 1 plus 1 plus 1, and I can't do my 3/8 because it doesn't have the same denominator, which gives me 3 halves. Plus, I still have my 3/8 over here. Now I have to find the same denominator. So that means I have to find the least common denominator. What would be the least common denominator between 2 and 8? Well, I would go over here to 2 and 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 3 is 6. Times 4 is 8. I see 8 right here for both of these. So I know that my least common denominator is 8. To get from 2 to 8, I multiply times 4. So to get from 2 to 8 here, I multiply times 4. And what I do to that denominator, I also have to do to that numerator. So that leaves me with 46 and 12 over 8 plus 3/8. Now we add those numerators and we keep the denominator the same. So that gives me 46 and 15/8. Well, then I have a problem. My numerator is bigger than my denominator. So that means I need to turn that back into a mixed fraction. And how do I do that? I would divide. So I would do 15 divided by 8. 8 goes into 15 once. 1 times 15 gives me 8, and subtracting that gives me 7. I'm out of numbers, so that means I can now go and create my mixed number. My whole number would be the 1 right here. My whole number is on top. My numerator would be 7, and my denominator would be 8. Now I combine 46 plus 1, which gives me 47, and then I have 7/8. Okay. This figure is composed of a half circle and a triangle. What is the area of the composite figure? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down into triangle and half circle. For a triangle, I know that my area equals base times height divided by 2. That's on your reference sheet. For a half circle, I only know the area of a full circle. I know that the area of a full circle is pi times radius squared. Well, what if I want to break that in half? What do? I would divide it by 2 to break it in half, because this is just a half circle, okay? We're going to go ahead and rewrite this formula now to area equals 3.14 times radius, and then don't forget it's a half circle, so we have to divide it by 2. We'll start with the triangle. So just taking a look at my triangle right here, I have 4 and 8.5. So area equals 4 times 8.5 divided by 2. 8.5 turns into 8.5. You should know that 1/2 equals 0.5. If you don't know, 1 divided by 2, add a decimal and a 0, and it goes into it 0.5 times. Because remember, the numerator always goes on the inside. So we'll do 4 times 8.5. Should give me 34. Let me check it real quick. Yeah, that gives me 34. And then we have 34 divided by 2. And 34 divided by 2 gives me 17. So this right here is 17. Then we have our half circle. Now the only number I have for my half circle is this 4 right here. Now if I were to draw this as a full circle, that 4 right there would go all the way across. So is that a radius or a diameter? That is a diameter. Well, I can't use diameters, so how do I go from diameter to radius? I divide by 2. So I would do 4 divided by 2, and that would give me a radius of 2. So I'd come over here and I'd plug that in. I would say area equals 3.14 times 2 times 2 divided by 2. Well, these 2's actually cancel out right there because you got the same number on top and bottom. And that gives you 6.28 for the area of your half circle. Now we just have to find the area of the whole thing. And how do we find the area of the whole thing? We would add it together. So I would have 17 plus 6.28. Well, remember when you add, you have to line up your decimals. So I have to add a decimal right here to 17 plus 6.28. So I lined up those decimals because you have to line them up when you add or subtract. And then I just add those 2 zeros on. So I have 0 plus 8, which gives me 8, 0 plus 2, which gives me 2, 7 plus 6, which gives me 13, write down my 1, carry my 1, and 1 plus 1, which gives me 2. So that gives me 23.28. All right, next one. The table shows the relationship between Y, the amount of money in a savings account, and X, the number of weeks. And it wants us to find a graph that best matches. Well, that's going to be pretty easy. All we got to do is just find the coordinates. So I have 3, 80. What coordinate would this be? 5, 100. What coordinate would this be? 9, 140. What coordinate would this be? 15, 200. You could have also drawn your arrows and done some division to find the constant rate of change, but this is going to be a little easier. You just match the table to a graph. All right, so let's go through and check. The first point I'm looking for is 3, 80. Well, 3 would probably be about right here. So I would go over to 3, and then I would go up to 80, which would be about like right there. And is there a point there? No, so this is not my graph. Oh my gosh, can you go away? Stop it. Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so that's not it. We go over to this one, and once again, we're trying to find 3, 80. So I go over to 3, and then I would go up. Hey, that could be about 80 right there. So 380 is good. Next point I'm trying to find is 5, 100. So I go over to 5, and then I go up to 100, and oh, there's a point right there. So that one's good. And then I have 9, 140. 9 would be like right before this 10 right here. So I go over to 9, and then up. Is that supposed to be 140? Hold on. Yeah, so this does not reach 140 right here. So this does not work. I'm going to put an X above this, and then we'll go through the rest of them. All right, so we'll go over to 3, and we'll go up to 80. Okay, that's right there. So that could be it. So maybe. And then we have 5, 100. So we go over to 5, and we go up to 100. And oh, that worked right there. So that's good. And then we'll go over to 9. We'll go up to 140. Hey, that worked. So that's looking good. And then we have our last point, which is 15, 200. So we'll go over to 15 and up to 200. And that worked as well. So this is going to be our answer right here.